Shalom, Yasharallah. This is Shamar from SOS. I came across a little video from an elder, a Native American chief that was speaking against the injustice and the mistreatment that America has shown against the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Americans. So I want you to watch the video, and then after that, I'm going to do a little breakdown on the things that he said, because the things that he spoke are pretty much prophetic of what the Bible already speaks about. So, you know, check it out.
They're gathering. They're sending a message to the world that the American democracy system is a lie. They have no honor. None.
All right, so, you know, he was saying that the American system is a lie. And that is true. Why? Because this place was built on the injustice and unrighteousness, you know. Habakkuk 2, verse 12, it says, "Woe to him that builded a town with blood and established a city by iniquity," right? Because this place was built on that, on the blood and the sweat and tears of the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Negroes, and the so-called Hispanics, even until this day.
All your ancestors, as well as mine, fought and paid for that right in blood. That's what them stripes on that flag represent. Yeah. Well, when you wake up, we're going to hate you for the 6 million Indians your ancestors slaughtered.
The flag, you know, the flag, you know, when you look at it, you know, history teaches that the 13 stripes represent the 13 colonies. And it's true, but it also represents the blood of the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Hispanics and so-called Negroes being lynched since they arrived on the side of the world. It was more than 6 million, roughly about 60 to 70 million so-called Native Americans, and that's not even counting the indigenous people that died all throughout Central and South America and the Caribbean islands back in 1492.
Yet we joined you in wars and made this country great, and this is how you repay us.
You have Donald Trump saying, "Make America great again." But we know that America was never great. Why? Because like we just read in the scriptures, this place was built on the injustice and the blood, sweat, tears of the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Negroes and Hispanics, even until this day.
You violate our treaties, desecrate our graveland. For what?
Like he was saying, you know, 500 treaties were violated, you know, by the white men. That lets you know that they're not righteous. They're not about justice, but unrighteousness.
Corporate entities who want to get rich, then you will suffer. All of you will suffer. It's not just us. You will suffer. Your children will suffer. When the corporate entities control the water in the world, and you have to pay for it. There's signs of it now with the bottled water. Can you afford that? I don't think so.
Alright, so I'm going to read out the book of Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. It says, "Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies." So it's saying that we will serve our enemies as a curse, which the Lord shall send against thee. So the Most High send those enemies against us because of our wickedness. In hunger and in thirst, you see, water. So that's why the elder was saying that, you know, they're in charge of the water. You know, today, you know, they sell the water to us at a higher price, and we don't know if that water is contaminated or it has a higher acidity, you know, which is bad for our bodies anyway. So, and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. So that's why, you know, the elder was saying what he was saying, you know, that the white man controls the water the same way that he contaminates the water also. They not only control the water, but they control the monetary system, you know, the central banks that are set up all over the world. You know, they control the flow of money, the flow of gold and silver. So, you know, I'm going to read, all right, so 2 Ezra 16, verse 21. It says, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." And that's exactly what's happening today, you know. All throughout the earth, you know, all the food that we eat is pretty much GMO. And all the food that we eat, you know, it's basically so cheap. Why? Because it's not real anymore. It's fake. It's genetically modified, and that genetically modified foods that we eat today, they affect our DNA makeup. They affect our health, our mind.
Shame on this country. Shame on the money mongers who destroy the earth for profit. Shame on them all.
So he was saying, shame on you money mongers. Why? Because they only care about themselves. You know, all they think about is money, and not the well-being of the people. You know, they're not just when it comes to that. That's why in Obadiah 1:10 it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut out forever. So that's a prophecy. And the elder was in the spirit, you know, because the spirit, the great spirit is pouring out his wisdom and understanding and opening the eyes of the tribes in the last days, which is, you know, now. We are living in the last days. And the Most High has set up his judges upon the earth to bring out the accusations against the other nations, specifically against the white man. Again, 1 Corinthians 6 verse 2, it says, do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Of course we're not unworthy. Like I was saying, you know, the Most High has set up the judges of the earth, which is us, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. For what? To present the information, to present the accusations and the evil deeds that the white man has done against the 12 tribes, but also against the entire earth today. So pretty much the elder was bringing accusations against the white man for destroying the earth. And I'm going to read a scripture in Revelations 11 verse 18. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, the 12 tribes, and to the saints, talking about the Israelites, and them that fear thy name, and the Gentiles that will cleave unto the Most High, the small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. You see, so the Most High is gonna bring judgment unto the people that have destroyed the earth collectively, and we know who is that talking about. Because there's only one type of people, one race of people that have destroyed the earth collectively. Everywhere they have gone, there's been destruction, there's been genocide. So for all generations caught my eye, because, you know, Christianity teaches that the Most High did away with the 12 tribes. And that he adopted the other nations to become spiritual Israelites, and that's a lie. There's no such a thing as that. So I'm gonna read that in Jeremiah 31, verse 35 through 36. It says, thus say the Lord Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divided the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Here's the point. If those ordinances depart from before me, say Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. We can see the sun, we can see the stars, we can see the moon, and the other heavenly bodies, which lets us know that the Most High has not done away with the 12 tribes. So
I don't hate you. I know you have a job to do. Nobody's hating you. You have a job to do. We just ask no violence. Don't hurt anybody. We won't hurt you.
That statement is actually not correct, because according to the Bible, when we read Romans 9:13, I'm gonna read it. Romans 9:13, it says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved. Jacob is the progenitor of the 12 tribes. Jacob have I loved, but Esau or Edom have I hated. So the Most High hates Esau or the Edomites today, which are the so-called white men in power, you know, oppressing the saints, the tribes, oppressing the entire planet, going and invading other countries, and pretty much destroying the entire earth and bringing unbalance to the planet Earth today. So
we're assembling with the Constitution that we spilled blood on foreign soil to uphold, gives us that right to protest and assemble.
So, you know, the contributions of the so-called Negroes, the so-called Native Americans, and the so-called Latinos today in their military is not recognized. Yeah, so there's a movie called Windtalkers where the contributions of two Navajo men were the deciding factor for the winning of one of the battles of the Pacific War during World War II. So check it out when you get a chance.
If this be real, if this Constitution is real, then let justice and freedom ring. Not lies. Not lies. We're tired of the lies. We're tired of the broken treaties, broken promises.
Our people, so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics and Native Americans have been marching for 500 years. Since 1492 until this day. We have been marching, we have been protesting, and a bunch of other things. None of that has worked out. None of it. You know, so it's time for us to come together as a people and unite. You know, we must leave our petty differences aside and come together as a nation. We are stronger together than separated. You know, but I want to touch on what he said though, you know, when he said let justice and freedom reign. Justice and freedom will not reign as long as the white man is in power. And I'm going to show you something in Proverbs. The book of Proverbs, chapter Book of Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, you see? But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So the wicked is in rulership today, which is the white man. And all their allies, they're in rulership. So their rulership is based in unrighteousness, in injustice today. That's why our people are mourning. The earth is mourning. The earth is in pain. You know, I'm going to show you that too. Book of Romans chapter 8 verse 19 and verse 22, it says, for the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God, the children of Israel, the 12 tribes. So the earnest expectation, the earth, nature, the animal kingdom, and all the other nations, they're expecting us for us to come into power, to rise up, to come together as a people, so that we can rule the earth in righteousness, you know, in justice, in equity, you know. Verse 22 says, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. See, the entire planet Earth is in pain. You know, it's groaning. Why? Because we're not in rulership. Because the white man is in rulership. They're ruling the earth in injustice and in unrighteousness. That's why the earth is mourning. So when he said let justice and freedom reign, that's not going to happen until the white man is brought down from their rulership. And that's going to happen when Yahweh Shai returns in his second coming. The black Hamashiach will return and put order on the earth and set us up so that we are given our authority to rule the nations. Revelation chapter 2 verse 26, it says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the earth, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. So that's when justice and freedom will reign upon the earth. When the Most High returns along with his son Yahweh Shai, and his son puts order on the entire planet Earth, then we are given our authority to rule the nations in justice, in righteousness, and all the things that we see in the world will be put back into place, back in order, back into balance. You know, because there's a cosmic balance that needs to happen when Yahushua returns. And that balance is not here yet. That's why we see what we see today: injustice, unrighteousness. So that's pretty much what needs to happen. But justice and freedom will not reign until the white man is brought down from their power and authority of rulership.
We're trying to protect our water. Sacred to us. We're not going to let a pipeline go under the Missouri River. Or the whole world will know that America is nothing but a bunch of corporate thieves and liars. That they don't believe in that high axiom of liberty and justice, due process and equality, and the right to protest and assemble. The whole world will know that it's a lie.
He was pretty much, like I was saying earlier, he's bringing accusations against the unrighteousness and the injustice system of this place, of America, aka Babylon the Great. So that's why he was saying the whole world will know that America and its corporate entity is a bunch of thieves and liars. They don't believe in liberty and injustice, and it's true. And I'm gonna show you. Book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 4. Therefore, the law is lacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore, wrong judgment proceeded. You see, that's why we don't get justice when a so-called black man is being shot in the street, when a so-called Native American or so-called Latino is being shot in the street by these KKK policemen. Why? Because they're unrighteous. The wicked is in power, so they can never be just. They can never act in justice and in righteousness. I don't care if they have the phrase "in God we trust" on their money. They don't really trust in God. They don't trust in the scriptures. They don't trust in the statutes and commandments of the Most High Yahweh. So that's why the elder was saying that the whole world will know that America is a bunch of thieves, a bunch of liars. There's no justice. There's no liberty. They don't practice none of that. So again, we are bringing the accusations against the so-called white man for all the atrocities and the genocide that they have committed until this very day.
Journalism. You can't be held back by corporate entities who control the media. The world is watching what's happening here today. Every day we make a move, the world is watching. North Dakota will be on trial for lying, blocking off the road and denying people the right to assemble. People who have paid for this right in blood on foreign soil.
And he was saying we will not held back, and it's true, like you read in Isaiah 58 verse 1, we will not hold our peace. We will continue to speak like a trumpet, and show our people where they have done wrong until this day. And that's basically why we're catching hell ever since 1492 until this very day. Our people have been catching hell for 500 years, and we have tried it all. So he was saying that that God will judge the nations. I'm gonna read Revelations. Revelations 19 verse 11. It says, "And I saw heaven open, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war." You see? Verse 15, "And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron." You see? So that's the judgment of the other nations. The other nations will be judged when Yahushua returns for all the things that they have committed.
We proved it to the world that we can stand together, white, black, red, and yellow, and make this the greatest country in the world. But we can't stand back and watch lies being perpetuated. We can't do it. We're Americans too.
Well, he is wrong when he said that, because we cannot stand together with the white man. We must stick together with our own so-called Hispanics, Native Americans, and so-called Negroes. We must come together as one. You know, that's the problem that our people have made ever since 1492 until this day, bringing the other nations to join into our struggle. You know, they don't understand our struggle. They don't understand the things that we go through. They don't understand, you know, our pain. You know, in our blood, we carry the suffering of millions of our ancestors until this day. Our warriors were killed. Our kings were killed. Our princes were killed. Our emperors were killed. Our women were raped, among other atrocities. So we are the only ones that understand our own pain and our own suffering. So we cannot join unto the enemy. That's why I'm going to read a scripture in the book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 7. Verse 13, it says, separate thyself from thine enemies and take heed of thy friends. You see? So we are commanded to separate ourselves from the enemy. And we know who the enemy is. We have always known, you know, but we have grown comfortable in our minds and in our spirits that we have forgotten who came and did destruction, who came and raped our women, who came and stole our lands, who came and stole our silver and our gold and took us down from power. And ultimately and mainly it was the Messiah because of our wickedness. He said that we are Americans. We are not Americans. We are Nikan Tlaka. We are the children of God. Like the word endeos or indios, Indian, comes from that word endeos, which means endeos, in God, children of God. So we are the children of God. We are the chosen people of this Bible right here. You see? Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The word of holy means kadosh, which means set apart. So it says, thou art an set apart people unto the Lord Yahweh thy God. The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So you see, we are not Americans. We are the best of the best. We are the kings and the priests of the earth. We are the judges of the earth. So that's what we are. We are the endeos, you know, the children of God. Endeos, that's what it means. You know, I pray that the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Hispanics, and so-called Negroes, you know, we begin to make bigger steps into coming together as a nation, you know, because we're living in the last days. You know, this kingdom, Babylon the Great, all this beauty that you see around here, you know, it's all going to be destroyed, you know, but we must come together as a people. We must separate ourselves from the enemy, just like the scripture says, you know. So with that I said, Shalom. Kwam Yashrala.